Hello and welcome to Locked on Sharks, your premier podcast for all things hockey in the Bay Area. I'm JD Young and no Kyle. He's been kidnapped by the Australians. So I roped in a very sad host, Jess from Locked on Flames. How's it going, Jess?
Um, it's okay. It's not as painful as I expected, but a loss
When
is
you
a
run,
loss.
yeah, when you run into the mountain, there's nothing you can do about it, but just pray. So.
Exactly.
All right, so we're going to break down the Sharks 4-1 win over the Calgary Flames right after this.
You're Locked on Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
So, yeah, the Sharks severely undermanned. Of course, trotting out Brent Burns and a bunch of children on defense. We're continue to find winning ways somehow. I think the biggest takeaway for me this entire game was Adin Hill, especially in the second period, where the Flames just dominated the Sharks, and dominated
Mhm.
isn't even like strong enough for how well the Flames played. But Adin Hill just kept taking on all comers and was able to hold off the Flames, who looked really good. And Kyle and I talked about before the game, like the Flames are a really good team. So Jess, like, what happened to the Flames tonight? Just bad puck luck?
They played such a sloppy game. I don't It was bad puck luck. It looked like they regressed to like their 2019 selves, and I was not having any of that. So I was like, no, like watching through my fingers, like it's a horror movie. They're a little late on the whole spooky season, but it's all right. I just the forwards just were all over the place. Defense was fine. I thought defense looked great. And
Yeah,
well, I mean, aside from the whole 4-goal thing, or I guess technically two,
two,
because
and one of them
yeah.
was like a beautiful snipe or a pass from Brent Burns, who just threads it down the middle of the ice, and that's what Brent Burns does. And then the other one
Exactly.
was a weird bounce for the Couture goal, and then two empty netters. So it's
Yeah.
not like Markstrom gave up anything soft or like that. But yeah, it
Yeah.
was just a night where like the Sharks just continually in their own defensive zone, having trouble just getting the puck into the offense, and once they do, it's basically going back the other way into the Sharks zone. But yeah, Adin Hill, he's struggled for the past 3 games. He lost 3 in a row. A lot of people were, at least in Sharks Twitter, were like, "Oh no, is this Martin Jones 2.0? Oh no, oh no!" And it was good to see Hill come out and have a really strong game, especially against a top team in the Pacific.
Yeah, and I'm sure that that's a confidence booster for him because, I'm sure that, their expectations are realistic because they're not hockey Twitter. They know what to do and what they're expecting when they face these teams. And I'm sure going up against a team that's been on a no pun intended on fire,
Yes.
um, in actually securing a win, like those 2 points that's huge for him and really the whole team, especially considering how many star players are out for you guys.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. With the expectation is um, Meyer, LeBanc. Most of those guys should be returning against the Avalanche on Saturday
Mhm.
because they don't want to have to deal with the going to Canada and all that, like the COVID stuff with that. I
Yeah.
know Carlson and Middleton are still a little. I think they're going to be a little bit later, just because I think they were the origin of the whole thing, but yeah,
Wonderful.
it's been kind of crazy just how well the Sharks have put together good games against decent opponents, and especially again tonight against the Flames, who are like you said, they've been on fire to start the season. Um, Markstrom, he's been an amazing acquisition for the Flames. Like, what's it like to have such an improvement in goaltending for the Flames?
It's insane. I mean, I only covered them really a half a season, if you even want to call it that, like 6 games before the pause when they had Riddick and Cam Talbot, but really it was just Cam Talbot. And having like an actual goalie, no shade to either of them, but like
Yeah.
a a dignified, established goaltender in there is just it's life changing because you know goaltending.
Yeah,
Poor
believe me, we
goaltending.
have
Yeah,
the past 3 years of Martin Jones, just anything that isn't, that has any sort of ability to stop the puck. It's so nice to have back there.
exactly. And they my main concern heading into this season was getting um a real backup goaltender as well, so Markstrom could get rest and not have horrible back issues, especially early in his contract with
Mhm.
the Flames. Uh, but they went out and got Dan Vladar from Boston, who just wasn't going to work out in their system because they had
1,000
better
goalies. Yeah.
prospects. Yeah, and it's really worked out for them, and it's great to see just the change in pace.
Yeah, it's been, again, like Markstrom having 4 shutouts already this season. It's been, I think, the past
Unreal.
3 years combined for the Sharks. They have 4 shutouts going into this year, just between Martin Jones and Aaron Dell. But yeah, it's just he was a big worry. He played really well tonight. I mean, he wasn't tested very much, and like all those goals. I mean, on a breakaway from Barabanov, like that's a
Mhm.
50-50, and just a weird goal from the Couture bounce. But before we continue, we want to take a quick break and talk to you guys about Shopify. Cha-ching! I don't know about you, Jess, but I love that sound. It makes me smile. It's the sound of another sale on Shopify, the all-in-one commerce platform to start, run, and grow your business. In case you didn't know, Shopify is a complete commerce platform that lets you start, grow, and manage a business. The subscription-based software allows you to set up an online store and sell their products. Shopify store owners can also sell in physical locations using Shopify POS, our point-of-sale app, and accompanying hardware. Shopify gives entrepreneurs the resources once reserved for big businesses, so upstarts, startups, and established businesses alike can sell everywhere, synchronize online and in-person sales, and effortlessly stay informed. And right now, when you go to shopify.com/lockedonnhl, all lowercase, you get a free 14-day trial and full access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Again, grow your business with Shopify today. Go to shopify.com/lockedonnhl right now. Shopify.com/lockedonnhl. I love Thanksgiving. All the food, the treats, plenty of them. But maybe you want that yummy dessert that isn't so full of calories and sugar. It's a perfect time for a Built Bar, especially if I change the thing. So one slice of pie has upwards of 300 calories. That's on the low end. Most Built Bars are only 130 calories with only 4 grams of sugar with plenty of protein. Replace the coconut cream pie with coconut Built Bar or a raspberry Built Bar instead of the raspberry pie. Lots of good flavors to replace any pie. They're low calorie, low carb, low fat, high protein, and they're covered in 100% chocolate. So Built is a great option for when you're hungry. If Thanksgiving isn't coming soon enough, go for a Built Bar or 2. And right now, they have a bunch of awesome new flavors. I think the coconut brownie, which is one of my personal favorites, is available. And also mark your calendar for Black Friday, where they're going to have a bunch of amazing surprises. Go to build.com and use the promo code LOCKED15. You get 15% off your order. Again, use the promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com. All right, Jess. So we know the Flames had some bad puck luck. Do you think this is just a bad night for them? I know they're maybe thinking about, they're starting a big road trip here, or was it just maybe a little bit of kinks in the armor?
I honestly think it was a little bit of both. I didn't expect this 10-game point streak to last much longer, and it's just not something that's sustainable
Mhm.
for a team that is not of like a Tampa Bay caliber. You and it's some nights you're going to play bad hockey,
Yeah.
and you know some nights you just play like trash, and it's not okay, but it's early enough in the season where you don't have to sweat about it, like, it's no dirt off their back, and I think that if anyone's overreacting about this loss, it just it it's
It's
not that deep.
And it's not like
It's a
I don't even
long
think they played
season.
badly. I thought they just ran to a hot goalie tonight with Adin Hill where,
Right.
he was just everywhere and, the young even like I said, they outperformed the Sharks in the second period. I think at all situations, the Flames had 19 shots to the Sharks 8. Like that's ridiculous. That's a
That's insane.
70% shot, 4%. Like, and then just not being able to they had 3 power plays in a row on the in the second period and just not being able to, convert on the power play, especially for a team that's really good on the power play. Sometimes you just have those nights. And I think it's, the Flames, I was a little hesitant on them going into the season, but they've been really, really good coming out of the gate. So I think just chalk it up to a bad night. So
Yeah, exactly, and I think a lot of people overestimated how good they were gonna be last year,
mm.
so everybody is just kind of, like, cautiously optimistic heading into this season, but they're, like, off the charts for how like, exceeding expectations, like you
Yeah.
said.
Yeah, and I mean, the Sharks are kind of in the same boat too, where the
Mhm.
Sharks were predicted to be a bottom of the barrel team, and they've played some pretty decent hockey, especially given, what they've dealt with COVID issues. I mean, Erik Karlsson hasn't played, in 2 weeks, and Erik Karlsson's one of your best players, and like I said, the losing 2/3 of your defensive pairs is not good. And Timo Meyer's been out, and he's been arguably between him and Hurdle, been arguably the two best forwards on the team. So yeah, it was a good win for the Sharks who've, again, especially starting this road trip here where they're going to be playing Winnipeg and then the Avalanche and the Wild and the
Mhm.
Blues. And those are all tough teams and there's not an easy win on there like at all. So it
No.
was good for the Sharks to kind of get out of the gate and score a big win here. I am worried about poor Mario Ferraro and Brent Burns, who are going to die at the um, so Burns 27 minutes 44 seconds of time on ice. Mario Ferraro 26 minutes. The next closest to defenseman Maloche had 18 minutes. In comparison, the Flames. Let's see. Anderson, he led the team or the defense on with 22 minutes on ice. Like that is just these poor
That's
guys. Last game they average both Burns and Ferraro were over 30 minutes. Like I'm
oh
we've
my
seen like Burns
god.
is a freaking machine, I know, but like you're gonna wear these guys down, right?
Yeah.
So please get back
Oh.
soon,
Yeah,
somebody.
seriously, like, I mean, for your team's sake, like, I hope that everyone just comes back and is obviously healthy, but I
Yeah.
hope that they're ready to pick up the slack and just be like, "Okay, I'm ready to put my participation points in and take the pain off you."
Yeah, I think Merkley, like Merkley's not going to get like he's not going to get like any shorthanded time and stuff like that. But like, I think you need to give Merkley a little bit more. He only played 12 and a half minutes, and I thought he had a really good kind of the end of the second period and that third period.
Absolutely.
He made some great moves on the blue line, made some of the Flames forwards who were out trying to defend looked pretty silly, which is what he's going to do. And even in his own zone, I thought he held as well, and that's always been his like oh, he's too small, he's not gonna be able to play defense. But he held his own in there, especially against a
Mhm.
very, very big Flames team. What were your thoughts on Merkley?
Yeah, I mean, the only time I've heard him is from you guys talking about him on Twitter, but, I
We're
really
sorry
thought
for that.
no, oh my god, no, your Twitter feed is fantastic, and I every Locked On needs to be more like that. But then that doesn't make you stand out, but whatever.
Yes.
Um, I thought that he looked fantastic, and like you said, he made some of the Flames forwards look really silly, and there was one um, goal that he stopped, and I think it was towards the end of the second period, and I was like, "What is this? Like, could you do us a favor and just please?"
Not do that, yeah.
Yeah, like, "Please just let it go in. It's fine."
Yeah,
But
especially I thought, Merkley, he had a really nice play to kind of drive in, into the circle there, and then he made a nice feed. And Gadovich, who's looked pretty good, but he's been really close to making some plays, and he just couldn't bang home one pass Markstrom there. But yeah, it's been good to see Merkley kind of. I think this was his best game. I know he scored in his second game, but like it's good to see Merkley. Not kind of get the William Eklund treatment, where it's like, oh, the team's heavy and we're just going to bench him and stuff like that. So, I mean, I know right now you're literally have nobody else to play, but it's good to see the coaching staff kind of let him have a little bit more leash. And I'd like to see him kind of maybe close to that 15-minute mark right now and try to take off a little bit of pressure off Ferraro and Burns, who are, again, what they are doing right now is just not human. So hopefully they get a nice vacation at some point. So.
Yeah. Completely unrelated, but speaking of defensemen with high minutes, Seth Jones played 35 minutes tonight. It's disgusting.
What?
And then every time I think of Seth Jones, I don't think of like him being a bad hockey player. I just think back to that 5 OT game
When he's played
when he
like
had like
an hour.
And I was
Yes.
like, watching each minute rack up. I'm like,
Poor guy, 35
no.
minutes. Chicago, you are a hot mess.
Yeah.
You know what isn't a hot mess, Jess?
Not me.
Not you. And also using Bet Online, definitely not a hot mess.
No.
You know why? Because they're back and better than ever with a new web interface for the start of basketball season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. Bet Online remains your number one spot for all basketball and football action this season. So head over to their new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use the promo code LOCKEDON to receive your bonus. From basketball, football, baseball, postseason, NHL, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games, don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is your fastest and easiest way to bet on your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, Jess. So looking ahead, what's your confidence scale of the Flames? So they're starting a 5-game road trip here. Where's your confidence scale on them right now?
They've been doing like obviously pretty well.
Yes.
In their last 5-game road trip, they swept, if you will, and that's what started their hot streak. And I mean, I don't think that they're going to sweep again by any means. I think that, everybody's kind of gotten their feet underneath them as the season has, 10, 12 games at this point for most teams. And, I think it'll be okay. I think that they're going to play well. I mean, they have a back-to-back.
Yeah, I pulled up the schedule here. So they play Montreal on Thursday, which is a very winnable game. Toronto on the back-to-back, which is Toronto's been playing better now. Then you got Ottawa, who is Ottawa. And then the Flyers have been playing well. Buffalo is bad. And then the Islanders and Boston. So yeah, they got some tough games in there, but they have some winnable games there too. So
definitely.
Yeah, and then they're back home after that against Chicago, Winnipeg, and Pittsburgh. So yeah, it's kind of weird with the schedule where they just don't play any of the Pacific teams right now. Like none of the Pacific teams play in the Pacific teams right now. But yeah, I mean, I think like you said earlier, the one loss, you ran into a hot goaltender. I wouldn't be too worried. The Flames, I think, are well positioned to be a potential playoff team here, especially with Vegas getting off to a super slow start. So I think that kind of opens up a spot that we all, myself at least, assumed that they were already printing their playoff tickets before the season started. So
I think the thing with this upcoming road trip is catching goaltenders like on a bad night. Matt Murray played like a brick wall tonight in Boston, and obviously not great for Bruins fans, but they ended up winning. The Bruins did. But I don't want them to play Toronto. We could just skip that game, honestly. Um, this is such like a minuscule thing that doesn't even matter. But last season, Daryl Sutter told Matthew Tkachuk that he couldn't stretch with his brother anymore in Ottawa.
Oh my gosh.
So I want to see what happens. Um, assuming that this is the first time that Matthew has seen Brady since the captaincy announcement.
Yeah, that's the kind of underrated storyline there. So especially with the holidays coming up, if he's gonna hold that over him, I got the captaincy already, especially because it's not like the Flames, they don't, Giordano
Right.
gone. Yeah. So I think for me, the biggest kind of what I'm looking for next is, James Reimer is supposed to start on Thursday against the Jets. And I really want to see how, if the Sharks can continue to this undermanned team can continue to play well. So the Sharks have had the Jets number this year. And I want to see if they can continue that. It'd be nice to get that 3-game sweep of them, especially with the way James Reimer's played this year. And he's been a brick wall back there. And, it was nice to see, I think, with the Sharks, that second line of Hurdle, Balcers, and Barabanov really, they've had some up and downs, but I feel like they've really started to get some traction recently. And I want to see them continue to do well. So, and just the defense, please hold on. Just one more game. Well, that's it. Then we'll start to get some reinforcement, even if it's Vlasic and Šimik, and just somebody
push through it. You can do it.
Yes,
please.
But no, I mean the young guys have played well. Hadaka, I think, has earned a spot in the six, and it's nice to see Merkley play well, and like some of these young guys, I think they have a bright future. So
absolutely. And I think it's nice to see the Sharks. I mean, really, like everybody wrote off the Pacific Division. I don't blame them.
Yeah,
but I
mean,
think
we've
that,
watched. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, I did too.
Yeah.
For every division preview, I was like, yeah, this is gonna be so much fun. Ooh, this is what you need to watch for. Okay, Vegas, and then
Vegas
watch
is good, and
the
everybody
expansion
else
team
is
and have fun, fill in the blanks with the rest. But I completely forget where I was going with that. But I just think that it's really fun to watch these teams because it's not boring.
No,
Normally I would have been in bed because I'm on the East Coast and I would have just been like, okay, all right, Sharks, you put up 2-1. All right, I'll do this in the morning, like whatever. But no, like it was a fun game to watch. Even, there was definitely competitiveness there, and it's nice to see. But I wish that it was just the Flames playing well.
Oh, you've had enough wins. Stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like you said. I mean, the Sharks got absolutely caved in that second period, but this is Kyle and I have mentioned this a bajillion times, where the Sharks of the last 2 years, they would have just folded 10 and they would have stopped, in that third period. It would have been a 4-1 Flames victory, where it's just that's what they did. And it's nice to see this team kind of fight back. And I think it starts having competent goaltending in the back, where it's like, what, they'll get us through this rough patch, and then we'll come out and try to get some offense together. So any final thoughts, Jess?
The Flames, you were talking about the second period. Usually they are absolute garbage in the second period. They go missing. So I don't know what this was tonight, but if they could
score some goals when they do that.
Do it again.
Yes.
I think the Sharks could have some momentum to build off of, and hopefully just beat Winnipeg.
That's the hope. So.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, so that's going to do it for us. Of course, you can find us at Locked On Sharks on Twitter, where Kyle and I are 100% online all the time. You can find us also on Facebook and Instagram if that's your preferred method of getting your social media. I will more than happy to respond to you and like your stuff and give you the little serotonin boost as you do that. But you can also email us at lockedonsharks@gmail.com, but don't do that. Thank you for your services. You can also you can listen to us, of course, at Locked On Sharks, wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, Ham Radio. We are going to be pressing vinyls here soon so that we can listen to records of us from episodes from 6 months ago. Jess, where can the
Yes.
people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Jess Belmosto. Again, incredibly online all the time,
Yes.
even when I shouldn't be. It's fine. But yeah, and obviously, if you want to listen to Locked On Flames, wherever you get Locked On Sharks, so just come to the dark side, I guess, if you want.
Yeah, go listen to Jess. Give her a nice review. She works very hard.
Oh,
So
thank
yes,
you.
yes. And then you can also find Jess. You're on the national show, right?
Oh
Once a
yeah, I
week.
forgot
Yes,
about
Locked On
that.
NHL. You can find me on Twitter at myfryhole. Thank you for making us your first listen. Go listen to fantasy hockey or something like that. Get beer from the beer store.